Hi, you can call me Siren. I'm an illustrator and animator who's got too many ideas and needs a way to spill them. That doesn't include sitting down and writing them in the form of a novel. I got a smooth brain. As I said before, I have too many ideas, and I like to draw with background noise. Sadly, I've run out of good background noise, so I want to do what other artists do and become someone else's ambient sound. Taking inspiration from ABD Illustrations, Ginger Ninja OWO, Canary Witch, and many other artists that at this moment I can't remember the names of. I want to tell my stories and develop them in my own personal little YouTube series. I need to get these ideas out, and someone's got to listen to me and give me validation. Or not. It's good practice. Today I want to talk about my story Gecko. Gecko is about a boy called Mac who moves to a small town, who meets a talking gecko and grants him new abilities. Still working on the synopsis, this one I've used was for my uni thesis. Grossly outdated. If you want to see the fake trailer I made, click here or whatever I'm going to do in this bit right here. The trailer doesn't really follow any narrative form, it's more of a compilation of scenes spliced together to make a proof of concept film. The story is still very much in its concept stages, as is a lot of stories I have. But today I won't be talking about any of my main characters, but in fact a side character, a minor villain. In their own right, they're doing what they've been taught to believe is right, so yes and no to being a villain. Sierra. Sierra can be described as dramatic, theatrical, a performer of the arts, a bit musically challenged, and tone deaf. She's incredibly self-centered and manipulative, so even if she's nothing more than a shallow, selfish woman, she's still got people who love her, despite the mask she puts on. Behind that mask, she's envious, a copycat, she can't handle when someone else gets attention. She's spoiled, an attention whore, thinks someone who has only child syndrome. I'm trying to make her as three-dimensional as possible. Very difficult when you only like to draw girls. Personality-wise, she takes inspiration from Yuno Gasai from Mirai Nikki, Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist, the Queen of Hearts, the Disney one, the old Disney one, and if I remember any more, I'll add them in post. Design-wise, she takes most of her inspiration from a shark. Why a shark? I made little fin-like flips in her hair, so that's why. I'm sure there's more, however, currently I have peanut brain. In the world of Gecko, you have your normal peoples and your geckos. Why are they called geckos? Because the people are inhabited by geckos, but not ordinary geckos. I've said geckos a lot, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Little geckos that give powers. Forgive me for the short description, I'm still working on it. Think of the anime Parasite, or the Gray Man. In Parasite, there are these alien creatures who inhabit humans. They completely take over their bodies and are 100% able to manipulate the body to morph into any weapon, thing, whatever they want. In the Gray Man, exorcists are either given innocence or are born with it. The innocence can come in the form of a weapon that is either separate to or part of the body. The geckos aren't exactly fully possessed by their gecko. Once synchronization begins, the gecko is nothing more than a corpse in their body, and the human possessor has full control. Only a few people are able to wield the gecko's powers. Those who can't die a horrible gory death. Mac is a different case, however. But again, we're not talking about him. As far as I care, he doesn't have a proper design yet, so maybe tune in to me trying to draw this little bastard. How do geckos affect their host body? I'm solidifying this now because I've never really thought too deeply about it. They grant their host increased senses, strength, speed, agility, and each individual has their own unique traits too. The powers will be slightly themed, and in Sierra's case, her main recurring theme is love and envy. So I could give Sierra the ability to shapeshift, however that's too similar to Envy from Fullmetal Alchemist, and it's a bit overdone. Perhaps she could shift to create a weapon, parts of her, to create a toxin, maybe hypnotism, something. She could be like a siren. No, this is hard. How about something that works almost in contrast to a character? She craves attention and she doesn't want people to see her nasty side because, she puts on that mask. Her nasty side could be the weapon. She's controlling, and part of her is based around the Queen of Hearts. Again, the old Alice in Wonderland one, the Disney one. The Queen of Hearts is like a powerful figure who has her whole kingdom wrapped around her finger. So she's literally, or what I want Sierra to be, is literally a manipulator of the organics. So let's give her an army. She herself does very little fighting unless she has a flesh suit. That's right. I'm incorporating zombies. Somehow, I always end up incorporating zombies into my stories. It's a bit weird. I'm obsessed. So I did try to visualize it. Gonna pop the image up now. It's a bit rough as guts and still working on how I'm going to visualize it. Anyway, she can essentially use almost any organic material, giving it a humanoid form with weapons to fight for her, or could morph around her body to work as a living shield. The organic material can be something as simple as a leaf, or as complex as a living, breathing human being. Although it does take a lot of energy to control, which is why she would normally go for the dead. So let's think partial necromancy happening here. The army can take any form, can have a bad smell, a good smell. It's just sick nasty. Blech. However, no dogs or cats. She does not want dogs or cats to be involved in her army. She likes them too much. Everything else is free game. So, as you've noticed in the background of this video, I've drawn a few things. Different ways Sierra can dress herself. She does like to play around with style and hair color. And she does have a default, which is probably one of the first pictures I've shown at the beginning. Hopefully, if I remember to do this in post. I've also decided to draw her as a ballerina. I just thought it would look cool. She just likes to play around with style, likes to play around with hobbies that are based in the theatrical world. Yeah, all that stuff. You might have noticed that she has a few tattoos on her. I didn't really have a particular reason for having these tattoos. I did use the color red a lot as a symbolism for love, rage, warning, urgency. Because that's kind of what her character is. She's loving. She's angry, very angry. Just in general, her colors symbolize a bit of warning. I did take a little bit of inspiration off Alan Walker's design, with his left arm being a bit red and decrepit. I just thought it looked cool. Very cool. Again, I'm not much of a deep thinker, but I'm happy that I can mess around with Sierra's physical design. The challenge is to ground her personality to be slightly relatable, not really, sympathetic, hated, meh. So I came across a few complications, or in general I come across many complications with my characters. I struggle to really ground them. I really strive to use symbolism. I'm a big fan of this animator called Zamyata. They use a lot of symbolism in their animations. It's just beautiful. And another complication I've come across is grounding my story. Of course, I won't be discussing anything beyond surface level in this video. Not just because I have surface level information, but because I want you, the audience, to be curious. And also it'd be better to talk about the main story when I decide to do a video involving the main characters. It's a smart idea, I guess. In terms of storytelling, both visually and narratively, I want to take inspiration from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A fair amount of Studio Trigger's work. I love everything about them. Beautiful stuff. Bits and bops of D. Gray Man. Also really like that show. Don't at me. Some Gravity Falls bits and pieces. Just there's a lot of inspiration from a lot of shows. It's groovy stuff. I just want to incorporate a feeling I've had. Maybe when I was a kid. It was like, I don't know, such a vague feeling. It's hard to describe it. I wish I could, but Now, why am I making this video? I did touch on it to begin with I did touch a bit of this at the beginning of the video. I am a chronic mind changer, and if something doesn't go my way, I kind of stop and start over, unless it's like physically put out there. So this is kind of my way of forcing myself to actually ground my ideas. I'm sadly not a perfectionist. I'm a good enoughnist. Now, is that detrimental? Probably not, because it means I do work faster because I'm not too focused on the little things. But I do want to cover that deeper ground. I do want to at least grasp at some form of perfectionism. I'd like to be almost as thorough as Alex Hirsch's Gravity Falls. Every subtle detail holds some form of mystery. I have some understanding as to why I don't think deeply, but I'm not going to touch on that because, it's too deep. One last thing I'd like to mention. I want to consume more media. I want to eat it. Yum yum. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I would like to have more stories like mine. They don't exist though. So this is me making them exist, so I can be my own little fandom. I can be my own little cheerleader. It's cute. It's sweet. Anyway, sorry for that little tangent back there. I want to wrap this video up by saying thank you for using me as your background noise, or if you paid closer attention and watched me draw, thank you for using me as your video. I'd very much like to make more of these, so maybe if you guys are interested, please give me a like, a follow, maybe a share. In fact, share this with your friends. Validate me. If you have some of your own ideas, please tell me. I'd love to hear about your original characters, what stories you have. I'd love to see. I'd be delighted. And if you have some tips for using symbolism, both visually and narratively, please tell me. Or any articles, artists, shows, that use it. Any questions you'd like to ask too, please do so. Anything really that'd force me to think a bit deeper about my characters. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a good one.